just about how serious I'm going to take it, and I do take it seriously, more seriously than 99.9% of these professional boxers that are out there. I think I could be fighting against Canelo Alvarez for, the WBC or WBO championship belt.
Jake Paul goes off on Canelo Alvarez after the Mexican super middleweight champion mocked his boxing career. Paul is so pissed with Canelo's comments that he didn't hesitate to call out the Mexican and proclaim that he could fight the former undisputed champion for his belts. But Paul didn't just call out Canelo. The problem child wants to take on the biggest names in boxing, and he made some really bold claims that have angered the combat sports world. But what was Canelo's verdict for the Paul versus Mike Tyson fight?
Canelo, thank you. What about Jake Paul and Mike Tyson? What do you think about that fight?
Canelo Alvarez doesn't seem to be interested in this fight. However, he also previously stated that he would be interested in fighting Jake Paul if he had the opportunity. He therefore isn't completely ruling out the idea of such high-profile exhibition fights.
Would you ever do like exhibitions like that, or like people like Jake Paul call you out, or these like other big stars? Like, is that business-wise like even worth it?
When I'm done with boxing, why not? Maybe I do it. I think it's
Like when you're done like competing at the highest level, you're saying?
Yeah, I think it's good because what happened there is other people who never watch boxing, or they don't know anything about boxing, they wanna watch Jake Paul because he's coming from he bring fans from other world, right? Yeah. That's good because everybody enjoy it.
Would you ever entertain that idea when you're done?
Maybe.
In another interview, Canelo was all praise for the problem child, suggesting that what he was doing was good for the sport of boxing.
We have Jake Paul, influencer turned boxer. How do you feel about a guy like that and what he's doing for the game, if he's doing anything?
I think it's good for boxing. He bring more people to the sport of boxing, so it's good. And it's good. He trains serious.
Yes.
So I think it's good.
As for the YouTuber, he has been talking about fighting Canelo for a very long time. A couple of years back, after his defeat to Tommy Fury, Paul surprisingly talked about fighting Canelo in his quest to become world champion. This is what he had to say regarding this potential fight.
A lot of people think it's funny, like, you're going to fight Canelo, like you're saying you're going to beat Canelo, like you're out of your mind. You lost to Tommy Fury in a split decision. First of all, that's the person who doesn't accomplish anything or doesn't understand failure, doesn't understand getting better every single day. I've been doing this for 3.5 years, have beaten people that other boxers wouldn't be able to beat. So you give me 3 more years, all of a sudden, me versus Canelo is a very good fight. I'm the bigger man. I have the longer reach. Look who he lost to, Dimitri Bivol, a bigger man, 6 foot. Has like somewhat of a Kronk style with his footwork, which is the style of fighting that I train.
Boxing promoter Eddie Hearn has been critical of the problem child's ambitions and slammed his decision to call out the Mexican. In his interview, Hearn slammed Paul's chances of ever being a boxing world champion.
Eddie, did you see the tweet that Jake sent out about the scrum?
I've really got under his skin. I can't give Jake Paul any more compliments than I'm giving him. All I said was he'll never be a world champion and he'll never beat Canelo Alvarez. Do you agree with that?
I don't think he'll beat Canelo.
Do you think he'll beat a world champion?
Oh, it depends. There's people, well, you know how I don't want to say anybody can be world champion, but that doesn't.
To beat, I said to him the other day, you can't just get a vacant belt. And
if it's, it's very difficult.
A world champ,
no, I don't think so. Unless it's at a weight where it's a weak division, but the odds are stacked against him.
You're even contemplating him.
Look, Fielding was a champion, like Eddie, he
wouldn't beat Rocky Fielding in a million years.
Maybe not. I don't know. You don't give much stock to Rocky Fielding, though. I
do. I'm saying he wouldn't beat Rocky Fielding in a million years. So I give, Rocky Fielding. You talk about Jake's not a fighter. What is wrong with these people? It's amazing the job. I could probably beat Jake Paul. That's how bad it is. And Tommy Fury might beat Jake Paul. But I love Jake Paul. I think he's great for boxing. He's just taking it very personally that I just said he won't beat Canelo Alvarez, which is remarkable. But I love what he's doing, and I love his passion, and I love his belief. I'm just giving my opinion. It's not. I'm not.
Said all the greats have to have that belief.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
That's what he tweeted. Did you read the tweet? Because someone called him delusional for thinking that. And
Marcos, how long have you been around boxing?
12 years.
Do you think at 24 years old or whatever it is, with no boxing experience, you go, I'm going to go and beat Canelo Alvarez, all right? See you in a few years.
It doesn't work that way. There's levels to it. Me and you know this.
Honestly, respect to him. He's putting the work in. He's improving. All I said was he's average. 85% of boxers are average, because for me, average is not being able to win a world title. But he's not the worst fighter I've ever seen.
I think average is seen as bad these days now. Like, no one wants to be average.
No one wants to be average,
Yeah.
but many are. It's not an insult.
We'll leave it at that.
Hearn did acknowledge Paul's ambition to strive to be a world champion boxer. However, he just doesn't see how the problem child can defeat Canelo in a pro fight. Hearn and Paul have a beef, sort of after those comments. The two were face-to-face in another interview, where the British boxing promoter took another swipe at Paul. Paul tried his best to showcase what he has achieved in his short boxing stint, but Hearn brutally shut him down. Paul also had an audacious challenge for Hearn. Have a look.
Eddie, your reaction to Jake saying he will become a world champion?
Everyone's entitled to have a dream. No, seriously, I'm being serious. I think there's absolutely no way he can beat a world champion and become world champion. But I will say he's improving a lot. He's dedicated to the sport. I don't know how good he is because he hasn't really faced a real fighter yet. It's not his fault. He signed to fight Tommy Fury.
Well,
Tommy Fury.
A five-time world champion in Tyron Woodley's a real fighter.
Mate, he's not a real boxer. He's not, Jake.
Well, I
Jake,
mean, the
he
first
can't.
skill in MMA is boxing.
Jake,
he won the UFC championship with a right
Jake,
hand.
He's a great UFC
But do
fighter.
you consider Tommy Fury a real boxer?
Yes, but I'm not in terms of
So
ability. But listen, but
So
Tyron
what
Woodley,
defines a real boxer?
a real boxer is someone
There's
that
these
is his
journeymen
craft.
like Andy Bishop who have.
Who's Andy Bishop?
Exactly, but he's a real boxer, right?
Yeah, but
because anyone can
okay.
go and get a professional.
Okay,
boxing
but what I'm saying
license.
is Usman does not qualify to give you any right to talk about you fighting for a world title, and nor does Tommy Fury actually. But I give you the props, I give you the respect. You're improving all the time, but the proof will be in the pudding. I don't believe. By the way, I've said that I think Jake Paul is better than some fighters, but I don't believe you will ever get close to being a world-class fighter.
I believe that I would beat anybody on your roster that's under 10 fights. Anyone.
We can do that.
Any one of your fighters that has under 10 fights. Easy.
Okay.
So
A cruiserweight?
A cruiserweight?
any weight, literally any weight.
Okay. So
any weight.
Any weight.
Any
anyone
weight.
under 10
Any
and up.
weight.
Perfect.
I will beat anybody on your roster.
I've got about 400 of them.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Let's run it up.
Chef
No,
Clark.
no
Chef-
problem.
Chef
Give
Clark.
me
Okay.
your best
Okay.
real boxer.
Okay. Chef Clark.
Give me your
listen,
best
okay.
real boxer.
Chef Clark, 1-0, right? Boxed in the Olympics, didn't medal. 1-0, just had one professional fight. He's a cruiserweight. You can have him, and I'll tell you what, I'll even provide him. Well, actually, let me be careful on the price.
I don't know.
No, but I'm telling you, I've got 5.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
okay,
No problem.
okay.
I already said I'm down. We're betting $1 million. I'm taking on anyone on your roster with under 10 fights. No
Okay.
problem. And that's right now too. Just wait to
Anytime.
just give me a couple of years, bro. Ooh, I'm coming for
I
your
hope
boy
you do.
Canelo.
Yeah?
I'm
Okay.
coming for your boy Canelo.
Okay.
That's on God.
Look, I don't think he minds that fight. You know.
He didn't say no.
No, I know.
Canelo didn't say no to a fight with him.
No,
Well, why
but-
would he not? That's
yeah.
the biggest. That's one of the biggest fights in boxing that can be made.
Paul demanded 3 years to make a mark in the boxing world. That debate with Hearn was 2 years back, and the problem child has made significant improvement in the years since. His recent run of form does give him a chance against some boxers. However, him wanting to fight the likes of Canelo and other pro boxers and MMA fighters is just ridiculous. After his latest victory over Mike Perry, Paul made another audacious call out of UFC champion Alex Pereira. Calling out two legends of the sport is probably one of the craziest moves Jake Paul has ever made.
Mike Tyson, your next big boy, signed the contract November 15th on Netflix.
Paul also opened up about his call out of Alex Pereira. He talked about how he wants to take on all the big names in the UFC. He also made another shocking statement about wanting to rub it in Dana White's face by taking on and defeating the best MMA fighters.
Two quick ones for you. Number one, any specific reason that you call out Alex Pereira? Obviously, UFC contract. It would be tough to get him out.
Yeah, no, I mean, I want everybody. I love this sport. And, you know, he's tweeted about wanting to go into boxing. We got him on the FaceTime right there in the ring. And I said, yo, can you get out of your contract? If he can get out of his contract, then let's run it. And so when I asked him that, he had a pause. He, like, looked at his manager. You know, these guys aren't their own bosses. So I want all the smoke, but at the end of the day, will Dana let him out? That's too big of a risk if I could embarrass his #1 praised fighter right now. But I want all the smoke. I want all the MMA guys, and I've beaten all of them. Who's next? He's the king right now of the UFC, so I want him. I'm going to decapitate him and dethrone him.
And just to be clear, right, it was Anthony Joshua that said Pereira should enter the boxing ring. Pereira said, I'm honored, I would love to, who should I fight? Right, and when Jake saw that, he said, hey, he should fight me. And we said, well, he signed to the UFC. And that was the basis of that discussion.
Jake Paul also confidently stated that he's already prepared for the fight with Iron Mike.
Tyson, I mean, obviously he's a legend, but considering what you did tonight, should a 53-year-old really be getting in the ring with you, do you think?
Yeah, if Tyson wants to get in the ring, I'm down, and he does. So here we are. He's one of the baddest men on the planet, and you know, if he wants that opportunity and that smoke, he's the one who is like, let's make this a pro fight. I'm gonna end you, and I'm ready for it, and I'm excited for it, and he's a beast.
It's
very
amazing.
dangerous.
It's amazing. No matter what would have happened here, somebody would have asked the question of, should this fight really happen? If Jake would have gone to a decision, they would have said, should this fight happen? Can he really beat Mike Tyson? If Jake would have lost, they would have said, thank God he's not fighting Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson would have killed him. He beat Mike Perry, who's an extremely tough man. He's not as tough as Mike Tyson, and he's certainly not as skilled as Mike Tyson in the boxing ring. No, he's not.
Yeah, you don't even know.
No, he's not.
You don't even know his age, to
Next
be honest.
question.
Paul also shared a roadmap for his career. The problem child hopes to become a cruiserweight in the future and shared the different types of bouts he's been fighting in recent years.
You said after the fight that your goal is to be the cruiserweight champion in 2.5 years. How would fighting a guy like Conor, who came after you, McGregor, who came after you tonight after the fight, or Alex Pereira help you achieve that goal?
Yeah, man, anytime I can get into a camp for a big fight and perform under the bright lights to prepare me for tough moments, I'm going to take it. So, you know, there's money fights, there's big fights, there's experience fights. I think tonight was an experience fight. November is a massive, massive fight, and I mean, it's experience going up to heavyweight and being in there with someone who's been doing something, boxing their whole life. So everything is just on the path to being a cruiserweight champion, and if I can go in there with champions of different leagues, those are the best of the best in the world, and they're going to bring the best out of me.
You've seen what he's done to experienced boxers that have a similar record to him, right? So these moments, I think, help prepare him for those more experienced boxers. You saw Chavez Jr. tonight. He looked pretty good, but he was fighting a guy who was 1-0 in boxing, right? His 1-0 is against an NFL player. And yet that MMA guy was able to hang in there with someone who has 60+ fights. So it's not easy what he does to these MMA fighters in any way.
Paul also shared his thoughts on fighting the rematch against Nate Diaz in MMA. He also opened up about his team making an offer for Diaz for the rematch.
Diaz had a victory win over Jorge Masvidal. We know that you beat him in the past when you guys had your boxing fight. How do you feel him calling you out again and saying that he's gonna, kick your ass?
He wants payday. Payday.
I know that.
No, but I want to do it in MMA. And he don't want he there's too much to risk for him. I don't think he thinks he could actually beat me in MMA. We made the offer and he hasn't accepted it. So Nate Diaz, if you want the rematch, we're doing it in MMA.
Is there anything special that caught your eye from that fight with Masvidal? Did you watch it?
Did there
anything new special?
No. Just a zombie. So Mike Perry, Nate Diaz, zombie. They're gonna be in the zombie apocalypse one day. People.
Last one, go ahead. Thank you.
As you can guess, Paul has shown no signs of backing down, and it looks like he'll be ready to fight anyone in the ring. And it doesn't look like his ambitions are fueled by money alone. Sure, Paul will surely be making bank with these high-profile fights, but he has something more to prove. He recently talked about his desire to take part in the Los Angeles Olympics in 2028 and win a gold for the U.S. in boxing. The U.S. boxing team has been miserable in the recent games, and Paul is eager to change that. The only ways he can ensure the popularity of the sport is if he takes part in the games himself or promote high-profile boxing bouts across the country. Have a look at what he had to say about boxing his way to the Olympics.
We go back to the drawing board for Team USA. I'm going to enter the 2028 Olympics.
Whoa.
For boxing in Los Angeles. I'm sick and tired of waiting around, waiting for another gold for Team USA.
So
so
not retiring.
Not retiring. Like I definitely probably just added a couple more years onto my boxing career because of that. But I just Los Angeles, United States, sick as. I mean.
Shout out Frankie Delgado.
You keep doing this where you're saying things on the podcast that I genuinely have never heard from you before. The Pereira call out, I didn't know you were going to do that.
Yeah.
This, I had no idea you were even considering 2028 Olympics.
Yeah, I'm just dropping bombs, but yeah, like actually, like I'm going to do it. Why not? 2028 Olympics. You heard it here first. Gold medal. You're mine, brother.
And there was definitely a lot of talk about the Olympics not making it to 2028. The boxing in Olympics not making it to 2028.
It will.
Is there anything like people can do at home to help make sure that happens? Is there any kind of like?
Just support the voice, you know, and the stances people take. But I believe it will. Cool. It has to. It's one of the oldest, greatest sports in the world. So.
Paul was also asked a challenging question about what he wants to achieve from his Olympics dream.
What would you say is more important to you, getting a gold medal in the Olympics or a world champion?
Hi. Sorry, you're beautiful.
That was actually really good. I don't give a more.
I would say being a world champion is first and foremost, and then second is a gold medal. But not that you care or anything.
No, I don't give a.
Want to talk about Simone Biles?
Yes.
This isn't the first time Paul has contemplated taking part in the Olympics, though.
We missed the cutoff by like 3 weeks, but I was gonna be if I could have went to one qualifying tournament, then it would have worked out.
You should do it, Jake.
Yeah.
Should do it. Sick thing to have on your resume.
It would be hilarious. Become cruiserweight world champion, then get rid of my professional license and become an amateur and win a gold medal in 2028.
Paul seems to be getting a bit carried away with his ambitious plans. Nevertheless, he has the golden opportunity to prove himself in his upcoming fight against Mike Tyson. The boxing world is, however, divided on who wins this fight. Let's quickly take a look at what they had to say about this matchup.
I got Mike Tyson.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't see how Jake pulls this off. I see Mike Tyson punching him in the body, and I don't see how Jake stops that. Jake is not of the size to give Mike a problem. Mike can be, big guys would hold Mike, guys with long reach that outweigh him.
Yeah.
I think people that's Mike's weight, with Mike's center of gravity, I don't think there's anything that's gonna stop him. Mike hits him in the body don't move that much. I don't see how Jake survives a body attack, personally.
Okay, I looked it up. Mike Tyson is 220 pounds.
That's 1 pound less than his optimal weight.
And Jake Paul is about 200 pounds. He's got about 20 pound
Are
difference.
you kidding me? He's only 200?
Yeah.
Oh, gee. This is worse than I thought.
That was his last fight. That's what he weighed in as.
Yeah. Oh, boy. That means, he fought Tommy Fury he was 200 pounds when he fought Tommy Fury?
6'1". Mike is what, 5'10"? Let me see.
Huh. He's 6'1".
5'10", yeah. 5'10". So he got 3 inches on him.
I know.
3 inches for Mike Tyson's not a big deal, obviously. But Tyson is 57. And okay.
I don't care.
And of that match between Mr. Paul and Mr. Tyson, which one do you think is going to win?
The only thing I'm worried about is Father Time. That's one thing that has never been beat. And Tyson's he's older now. But I pray that he comes out healthy. But I think Jake Paul because of youth. That's the only thing, because of the youth.
Jake says he could get a cruiserweight title in 2 years. Do you think he can?
Possible. It's possible. Listen, man, a lot of people write Jake off, but Jake can punch with that right hand. He got a nice right hand. Gained a lot of respect for Jake because he's not a YouTuber that's just boxing just to box. He actually trains and actually want to get better and actually have got better and really putting his his time, focus, and energy into boxing. So you got to respect that.
The boxing world doesn't want to rule out Jake Paul after his impressive showing in recent fights. The upcoming fight against Tyson will therefore be quite interesting. But we'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Can the problem child defeat Mike Tyson in his ultimate test? Will he finally be a worthy contender in the eyes of the boxing world? Let us know in the comments. That's all for today. Hope you enjoyed this one. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.